Try eating a full meal without watching anything. No YouTube, no TikTok, no music, just you and the food. I mean, it sounds completely normal, but for some reason, it feels like something is missing. I'm at the point where if my food is ready before I've chosen a video, the food has to wait. It could be getting cold directly in front of me, but apparently finding the right 15-minute YouTube video is part of preparing the meal. And yes, you're currently listening to me talk while Minecraft runs in the background. I'm aware of the irony, but that's kind of the point. At some point, simply doing one thing stops feeling like enough. We need a video while eating, music while showering, a podcast while cleaning, and our phones with us during the 10-second journey to the bathroom. Every empty moment needs something playing inside it. Our generation didn't just gain unlimited access to entertainment. We reached a point where being unentertained for a few seconds feels uncomfortable. And I don't think we realize how strange that is. Boredom. A thing used to be built into everyday life. You had to wait for things. You sat in the car and looked out of the window. You stood in a queue without having an entire entertainment system in your pocket. If your friend was late, you just stood there wondering where they were. Now, the second nothing is happening, we reach for our phones. Waiting for the microwave, check your phone. Waiting for a game to load, check your phone. Waiting for someone to reply to the message you sent 12 seconds ago. Check your phone to see if they replied. Sometimes I unlock my phone without even knowing what I'm looking for. I check the same apps, see nothing new, close them, and then open one of them again about 30 seconds later. As if Instagram might have released a major update during that time. We didn't make one big decision to remove boredom from our lives. It happened through thousands of tiny moments. Anytime silence appeared, we filled it. Eventually, there were no empty moments left. The clearest example is how we watch things now. You put on a movie, but the story slows down for a minute, so you check your phone. Then something important happens, and you have to rewind because you weren't watching. You rewind it, watch the part you missed, and then check your phone again. At that point, you're not watching the movie is just running near you. I mean, even I've caught myself pausing a YouTube video because I got bored and then opening TikTok. I paused entertainment to watch shorter entertainment. Sometimes we don't even pause it. We just let both things play at once and somehow absorb neither of them. People scroll while watching television. They watch videos while playing games. They play mobile games while watching videos about another game. We've reached the point where entertainment itself occasionally needs background entertainment. And once you get used to something new happening every few seconds, slower activities start to feel wrong. A movie takes too long to begin. A book takes too long to become interesting. A game has too much dialogue. A song has a 15-second introduction, so you skip it. Nothing is necessarily bad. It isn't just happening quickly enough. And you know what? This didn't happen randomly. Almost every platform is designed to prevent the moment where you might decide you've had enough. Videos play automatically. Feeds never end. Episodes start counting down before the current one has even finished. There's always another post directly underneath, the one you're looking at. Older forms of entertainment had natural stopping points. A television show ended. A CD finished. A magazine ran out of pages. You could continue, but you had to make that decision yourself. Now, the decision is made for you. If you do nothing, another video begins. If you keep moving your thumb, more content appears. The easiest option is always to continue. And this isn't some mysterious conspiracy. These platforms are competing for our attention. If we get bored, we leave. So they become extremely good at making sure we never get bored. The problem is that what's good for an app isn't necessarily good for the person using it. We removed the feeling of boredom without asking whether boredom was actually doing something useful. When you were younger, being bored usually meant eventually finding something to do. You drew something, you went outside, you rearranged your room for no reason. You invented a game with rules that made sense to nobody except the people playing it. Sometimes you just sat there thinking. That doesn't mean childhood was perfect, or that everyone was constantly being creative. Most of the time, being bored was annoying, but the annoyance pushed you towards something. A lot of hobbies begin with a period where nothing exciting is happening yet. When you start drawing, you're probably not very good. When you start playing an instrument, the first few weeks don't sound great. When you open a new Minecraft world, you spend the beginning punching a tree and living in a house that looks like a wooden box. The interesting part comes after you stay with it. But when your brain is used to receiving something new every few seconds, that early stage becomes much harder to tolerate. You want to read, but the first few pages feel slow. You want to learn something, but the tutorial is 20 minutes long. You want a hobby, but being bad at it isn't immediately rewarding. So, you go back to the activity that rewards you instantly. You scroll. Not because scrolling is more meaningful, but because it asks almost nothing from you before providing something new. So, you hear people say that nothing feels fun anymore. Games aren't as enjoyable, movies don't hold their attention, music doesn't feel the same. Sometimes, the games and movies generally aren't very good. But I also wonder how often we give anything our full attention anymore. It's difficult for something to pull you in when you're constantly half leaving it. You can have every movie ever made available and still spend 20 minutes scrolling through the options before deciding there's nothing to watch. I mean, it's the same experience as opening the fridge, looking directly at food and deciding there's nothing to eat. Unlimited choice doesn't always make choosing easier. Sometimes it makes everything feel replaceable. If a video doesn't interest you immediately, there's millions of others. If a song starts slowly, skip it. If a game requires patience, play something else. We never have to stay with anything long enough for it to become interesting. Even relaxation has changed. Scrolling feels like resting, because you aren't physically doing anything. But after an hour, you don't usually feel rested. You just feel like an hour disappeared. You consumed a huge amount of content, but you can barely remember any of it. You weren't bored, but you weren't particularly satisfied either. I'm not going to pretend the solution is deleting every app, buying a flip phone and moving into a forest, for those of us who know. Most of us need technology. And entertainment is good. Watching videos, listening to music and playing games aren't problems by themselves. The problem is losing the ability to exist when none of those things are happening. Maybe the solution isn't some dramatic digital detox. Maybe it's allowing a few parts of the day to remain unfilled. Waiting for the microwave without checking anything. Walking somewhere without immediately putting on headphones. Watching a movie without opening another screen. Eating the first 5 minutes of a meal before spending 15 minutes looking for the perfect video. It will probably feel slightly irritating. That's not proof that it isn't working, it's proof that we're no longer used to it. Boredom isn't necessarily a sign that something has gone wrong. Sometimes it's just a space before your brain finds something of its own to do. So, in conclusion, our generation has access to more entertainment than anyone before us could have imagined. That should have made boredom almost impossible. And technically, it did. But it also made ordinary moments feel emptier whenever entertainment wasn't present. We don't just watch things because we're interested. Sometimes we watch because silence feels unfinished. Sometimes I'll spend longer looking for something to play while I eat than I'll spend eating the actual meal. And if I can't find the right video, the meal genuinely feels less enjoyable. That is probably more influence than a screen should have over a sandwich. But so guys, let me know what completely normal activity can you no longer do without something playing in the background. Eating, falling asleep, cleaning, taking a shower? Or are you one of those people who opens TikTok during a movie you personally chose to watch? Because I don't think everything suddenly became boring. I think we became so used to instant entertainment that we forgot how to wait for something to become interesting.